Despite the long wait, Netflix adaptation of The Sandman was able to live up to and even exceed expectations. Like Neil Gaiman's comic book of the same name, upon which the series is based, The Sandman centers around Morpheus, a dream, the anthropomorphic personification of dreams. While not everyone was happy with how Netflix The Sandman changed the comic book, it stayed mostly faithful to the original, and its story doesn't feel dated despite the comic being published in 1989. A screen adaptation of Neil Gaiman's Sandman took a very long time, with the show arriving more than 25 years since the DC comic book series ended. Repeated attempts to adapt the source material have happened since 1996, with Warner Bros. at the helm since they own the film rights to DC Comics. Various pitfalls plagued the initial efforts, including disagreements between directors and producers, along with Gaiman's disapproval of specific versions of the scripts. Fortunately, the long wait has culminated in a critically acclaimed show that stays true to its unique tone and creativity. Here are all the reasons an adaptation of The Sandman took so long, as well as the reasons Netflix show beat expectations. Why Sandman was so hard to adapt. There are a few reasons why the hit Netflix series The Sandman was so hard to adapt. Showrunner Alan Heinberg gave some insight into why previous attempts proved difficult. The sheer scope of it, really. What I understand from Neil and David Goyer's adventures in trying to develop is it's very difficult, if not impossible, to try and fit that Witch's Sandman into a 2-hour, 3-act structure, via CBR. Heinberg said that even with more than 10 hours to work with, he found it challenging to do the material justice. The Sandman story is suited better for the TV show format, as it is very nuanced. A movie would have likely omitted many important details. Gaiman stated that many of the scripts he received for The Sandman were not very good, and he was adamant about avoiding some of the pitfalls that plagued other adaptations. Special effects were another reason for the delay. To best depict vividly imaginative settings like Neil Gaiman's The Dreaming, modern advancements in CGI were needed. A studio would likely not put the required financial backing into a 2-hour, R-rated comic book adaptation. A long-form story like The Sandman needed to be told through the intimate lens of a platform like Netflix that allows its detail to be an advantage instead of a disadvantage. Sandman's production timeline took 30 years. The production ideas for The Sandman's adaptation started early during the comic book's initial run and picked up steam after its end in 1996. Initially, the screenwriting duo Ted Elliott and Terry Rossio, who are best known for scripting Aladdin, Shrek, and the first few of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, were attached to the project. Roger Avary was set to be the director, but things fell apart after disagreements between multiple parties. Gaiman revealed that he purposely leaked John Peters' script to sabotage it. The film reportedly included Dream, Lucifer, and the Corinthian being triplets hunting for Dream's missing items. In 2014, Joseph Gordon-Levitt and David Goyer, who wrote the Dark Knight trilogy, joined the production team. Jack Thorne, the writer of his Dark Materials, delivered a script that was favorable to Warner Bros. And the Arrival's Eric Heiserer was brought in for rewrites. Heiserer's entrance marked Gordon-Levitt's exit from the project. Then he later left, but not before suggesting that The Sandman was better suited for TV rather than a movie. The TV adaptation's initial version was to be headed by Eric Kripke, creator of Supernatural and showrunner for The Boys, but Gaiman didn't feel their visions aligned. With Goyer and Gaiman left as producers, the show finally landed in the hands of Heinberg, who wrote Wonder Woman. Together they finally got it released through Warner Brothers on Netflix. Why Netflix Sandman works so well? Netflix The Sandman works so well mainly because of its closeness to the source material. Some scenes of the show are almost identical to the comic down to the dialogue. The show also does an excellent job of modernizing the material and not making it a period piece. The show's casting is excellent and includes a star-studded cast spearheaded by Tom Sturridge's portrayal of Dream. Despite the backlash around the casting of Lucifer, Gwendolyn Christie's portrayal of the character was actually more faithful to Gaiman's character than the version played by Tom Ellis. Mason Alexander Park and Kirby Howell Baptiste's portrayal of Desire and Death of the Endless, respectively, were able to bring to life characters who are concise and difficult to embody. The show also displays good pacing, separating its arcs into multiple episodes. This gives The Sandman an anthology feel while still telling a cohesive story that connects each arc. Timing is everything. It may have taken over 30 years to adapt The Sandman, but it was worth the wait. With its unique tone and complex interweaved story about abstract personifications, it is understandable why adapting the material was challenging. While not all the roadblocks of the show's production are public, the known difficulties make the show's success all the more special. Sandman's success secured a Season 2. No release date has been disclosed by Netflix yet, but The Sandman Season 2 is officially happening, which isn't astounding considering that it became Netflix's top show, albeit for a shorter time compared to the streaming network's hardest hitters. Apart from the main series itself, the last-minute, two-part bonus episode was also largely well-received and helped to further stoke the fires of The Sandman Season 2. Indeed, as Netflix has only adapted the very beginnings of Neil Gaiman's Sandman graphic novel, there's really no telling what could happen in the next season. Provided Netflix sticks to its formula, The Sandman Season 2 could be another breakout hit for the streaming network.
My heart returns to you, dear, you.